Eric Gall here. All right, I've got to talk about this. I can't keep it in any longer. I want to talk about day programs. And this has been bubbling up inside of me for a little while, so I need to talk about it. And this isn't the first time that I've seen this, but last week I was on a website of an organization that runs a day program, and they're claiming that their day program helps a person with inclusion and being a part of the community. And does this make any sense to you? Because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. And I'm going to explain why. I'm also going to explain why this is just wrong for day programs to claim this. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about some action items for both day programs and for families. So before I go any further, how I work with families, and even in my own family, really what I do is I advocate for people with a developmental disability to have an awesome, ordinary life. So to enjoy the good things in life that we all get to experience. Now, the good things in life are not found in group homes, and I'll explain why. But I also, in the same breath, do not want to pass judgment here on families that have their loved one attending day programs. I get it. Sometimes you're in a place where you just don't have enough resources for anything else, and your loved one needs somewhere to be while you work, for example, or you need some respite. So I just want you to understand, as families, I'm not passing judgment, but this is really important for us to think about, even if our loved one is attending a day program. Okay, so let's start with what a day program is. So a day program is somewhere that people with developmental disabilities, and day programs typically are going to call it special needs. So people with special needs, right? So it's a place for special people with special needs to be, and it's usually advertised as, there's going to be some activities and there's going to be ways for them to engage and grow. And this typically doesn't happen, and I know I'm going to take some heat for this, but I have been to these day programs. I do understand how they work, and I do understand that there is better, and that happens in ordinary community, not in these segregated settings, which is what day programs are, right? So day programs are segregation. It's grouping people with developmental disabilities together, separate from the ordinary society, or separate from everybody else, right? So it is, we could say by definition, day programs are exclusionary, right? And when things are exclusionary and segregated, they are also oppressive, right? So we need to acknowledge that, right? We need to, even if our loved one isn't a day program, we think the day program's great. We need to acknowledge that because it is a fact. And when people are segregated, excluded, and thought of as special or different, then typically those people don't have access and have a real struggle to get access to the good things in life, right? Kind of typical ordinary relationships, opportunities in the community, etc. So why am I so ticked off about day programs claiming that they're offering inclusion and community? Because they're offering the exact opposite of that, right? What is inclusion? Inclusion is being a part of the ordinary community. Inclusion is having valued roles and valued ways to contribute in the ordinary community, ways that were, opportunities to be in situations and roles where other people view your loved one with a disability as valued, right? That is what inclusion is, and that can only happen in ordinary community, one person at a time, right? Not grouped together. By claiming that we're going to do community outings, and that being inclusionary, right? We're going to a farm, we're going to a movie, we're going to the community park. That's not inclusion. That's still segregation because there's a whole group of people or a small group of people with developmental disabilities going to those areas, to those things in community. And yes, they're in community, but not really a part of community, not in a contributing role in community. So we need to understand the difference of being in community and being a part of community or contributing to community, right? So, these two words, inclusion and community, are being, I'll call them inclusion washed, right? I don't know if that's a term or not, but, similar to a company greenwashing, right? And these day programs are inclusion washing. They are making families think that their loved one is actually being included when actually the opposite is happening. Exclusion is happening. So we need to change. We need to do better, right? Folks that are operating day programs need to do better and to recognize that this type of communication is harmful, right? And it is oppressive for people with developmental disabilities. So what can day program founders, leaders, managers, staff doing? Well, stop confusing families. Stop saying things like inclusion and community, because those things are very misleading and that's not what's actually happening. What is a day program? It's a place for a person to be and someone to look over them, right? That's the reality of it, but it's excluded from the rest of community. So what else can, day programs do? Well, you can support people on an individual basis to contribute in community, to be a part of community. That's what inclusion actually is. And for families, that's what we need to advocate for. We need to advocate for better. We need to ask for better. We need to stop being so nice and say, this is what we need. This is what our loved one needs, right? And these things are actually human needs, to be able to contribute in ordinary and valued ways, to be in ordinary relationship in communities. So those are some things that we can do. And scroll down, leave a comment below. Let me know what ideas, perspectives this video helped you think of, maybe some realizations that you might have had. And I'm Eric Gall. Together, let's take a small step forward.